may be seated. These readings today are so jam-packed full of material for, probably 2 hours of sermon, but we don't have 2 hours, fortunately for you. So I'm going to just give a few thoughts on the gospel reading. I spend a fair amount of time praying and thinking about ways to increase the visibility of Grace Church here in the Llano community. Our members are out, you all are out in the community in various ways, putting your faith into action regularly. We hold events here to which we invite the community to come and see who we are and what we are about. Last evening we hosted a fair amount of people at a very successful and delicious pancake supper. And today we are on the marquee, I believe, at the courthouse, advertising Ashes to Go for this afternoon. We want people to know who we are. We are reaching out to the surrounding community, as our mission statement says, sharing the good news of Jesus and being channels of God's love and understanding and healing. And we've come here today at noon to receive ashes on our foreheads as an outward and visible sign of our fleeting lives and our humble confession that we are but dust, and to dust we shall return. I'm sure I'm not the only one who appreciates the irony of this gospel then, in which Jesus says, "Beware of practicing your piety before others in order to be seen by them, for then you have no reward from your Father in heaven." We live in this tension of being unabashedly and unapologetically followers of Jesus on the one hand, and on the other hand, practicing our piety so as not to be seen by others. And maybe this confuses you, but I don't think Jesus meant to confuse us. He was drawing a distinction between almsgiving and praying and fasting for show, and doing these things for the sole purpose of taking care of the needs of the poor, which is what almsgiving is, and in connecting with God through prayer and fasting. It's not the action that Jesus addresses, it's the motive. I listen to public radio quite a bit, and from time to time they have a pledge drive. A couple of times a year they have pledge drives. So, they ask people to give, and when people give to public radio, then they announce, as people have given in the last hour, they'll announce their names and where they're from. So several years back, I called in and I made a pledge, and I hate to admit this, but I awaited eagerly for my name to be called out on the radio as one who gave to public radio. So when they called my name out, they got the town wrong. They said, "Betsy Stevenson from Round Rock," instead of "Betsy Stevenson from Round Mountain." To my shame, I called them back and I said I wanted them to repeat my name on the air with the correct town. Isn't that awful? That's a good example of having the wrong motives and looking for earthly treasure. But I don't think I'm alone, because people often give, people who have a lot more money than I do, to have their name put on a building, or to get a mention in the platinum section of givers to some charitable organization. You can look at, like, when you go to the theater and it has theater patrons on the back page, and there's 500 at the bronze level, and 300 at the silver level, and 100 at the gold level, and 5 at the platinum level. And you're always like, who's at the platinum level? We're like that. But Jesus he's not criticizing our giving, nor am I criticizing our giving. But he's challenging us to question our motives. Now, I don't think anybody here is really tempted to stand on the street corner and pray in order to be seen by others. We had a hard enough time being conspicuous just putting our ashes to go signs out on the highway yesterday. But privately and behind closed doors and in the pew with our heads bowed, driving alone in the car or in bed right before you close your eyes. These are the most intimate times that we can spend with God. In secret, where you can speak silently or aloud and listen to your Father who is in secret and who sees you. You know, one of the things that I really like about hands-free phones in your car, you know, that you can sync, is you can pray out loud, moving your lips, and people in the surrounding cars just think you're on the phone. So it's a great time to pray as long as you keep your eye on the road. I'm reading this book that I've just started it for Lent, The Cloud of Unknowing. I mentioned it on Sunday. It's a book on contemplative prayer. And the main message of this book is that Christ should become more visible as his followers become humbler and kinder and less obvious. So as we launch into this season of Lent, I encourage us all to make these 40 days about Jesus and not so much about ourselves. Let us set aside this time to draw close to God, to pursue God in secret through fasting and prayer and almsgiving that no one else is going to know about. And our Father who is in secret will see and reward us with treasure, not like the world's treasure that doesn't last, but with eternal heavenly treasure that can never be taken from us, the treasure of God's abiding presence and love. Amen.